set? Okay. Well, I want to welcome Paul Fragny again. He represents TSA, the TSA agents, the American Federation of Government Employees. I always have to think about the exact title. But I really appreciate Paul's support for the members of his union. He has been steadfast and stalwart, and I have tried to advocate for these federal workers who today are going back to work. We have fewer than the original group here because they are back at work. Fortunately, that's a good thing. I just want to say to all of the federal workers who were on the job without pay or furloughed, we thank you. All of America should thank you. Even more, we should make sure you receive your back pay. I will be leaving in just a matter of minutes to go back to Washington. As I return, I want to pledge to the federal workers who've been on the job without pay or who have been furloughed, we're going to make sure you get your back pay this week because you've gone long enough without it. 35 days without pay, working on the job is a disgrace. The least we can do is make sure that you are paid for the 35 days you were on the job or furloughed, and make sure you receive that pay this week. So you don't have to take loans, and you don't have to continue to go to pantries, and you end the time of apprehension and anger. There's still a road ahead, and the other pledge I want to make to these federal workers and all of the people of Connecticut, America, is we're going to do everything, literally everything within our power to make sure that this shutdown is not repeated. Remember, at the end of 35 days, the president was in the same position he was the day the shutdown started. This shutdown accomplished nothing. The agreement we approved last Friday was exactly the terms that we approved in December when the Senate unanimously voted to continue these government agents open. And we should avoid any repeat of this shutdown. Any repeat would be a disgrace, shameful and embarrassing to Congress and to the president. So I feel sure that there is an agreement to be had on border security. We're all in favor of it. The only question is how best to achieve it. A smart and strategic approach on border security will be common ground. We will reach an agreement if everybody is reasonable. And now Congress must take the lead, because this morning the president said he thought the chances were less than 50-50. I think the chances are far better than 50-50 if Congress leads and adopts a strategic and smart approach to border security and to affording a path to citizenship for the Dreamers and other terms where there is common ground. There's an agreement to be had as long as Congress takes the lead and the president learns the lesson from this shutdown, that it was pointless and senseless and costly. In fact, about $6 billion, more than he wanted for the wall itself. A wall from sea to shining sea is simply not going to happen under this administration or any other. And I think that Congress can take the lead and assure that we do not repeat this shutdown. Going forward, I will be considering measures that enable us to avoid any shutdown in the future. For example, automatically continuing the appropriations for government agencies in the event there's no agreement. That kind of automatic continuing resolution might provide an incentive for reaching an agreement in stopping funding for congressional staff and salaries, and also the White House. If Congress and White House saw their pay stopped while the government remained open, there would be a pretty good incentive for avoiding a shutdown in the future. That's the kind of approach, and it's called the Stop Stupidity Act, that a number of my colleagues and I will be considering. But what's most important is we need a new law to prevent this kind of shutdown in the future. Automatically continuing the government to function, maybe eliminating pay for Congress and for the White House as an incentive to reach an agreement, but avoiding the kind of disruption to services, the hardship for government employees, and the damage to our image around the world that we sustained as a result of this government shutdown. So we'll be working on a broader, longer-term solution, even during the next 3 weeks, as we seek common ground on border security and a path forward. So thank you, Paul, for being here.
Thank you,
and thanks for all your great work.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Paul Ferragni. I'm the local president for AFGE 237. Once again, I represent 3 states, 5 airports. That's Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Vermont. With that said, I would like to give a special thanks to the Senator for his due diligence in supporting the federal workers, not only here at Bradley, but all across the country. With his support, we were able to get the governor to assist us with the unemployment issue in reference to the bill brought forward for the Webster banks to help federal workers in their time of need. Also, I'd like to also thank the Senator for all he's done. We couldn't have gotten a majority of this accomplished without him. So I'd like to personally thank you, Senator. Thank you very much for that. Federal workers will be hopefully getting a paycheck sometime next week. With that said, it still brings a lot of stress on federal employees. Even though we are, again, getting a check next week, there's still a lot of stress out there. How, are we going to get to work with no money for gas? How are we going to put food on the table? Federal workers are asking me these questions all the time. But with that, we're working it as best we can. The public, the general public that is, has been a great success in helping us. They've brought in numerous donations, such as food. A lot of our local vendors around town have provided federal workers with food. We've had food share here as well. And again, EAP was there to support its federal workers, and that's the Employee Assistance Program. I'd like to give a special thanks to our FSDs, FSD Birch, FSD McDonald, that's from Vermont. I'm sorry, FSD Birch is from Providence. And I give a special thanks to FSD Santos here at Bradley International. These FSDs have gone out of their way to support federal workers, and these are our federal security directors. They've gone out of their way not only to support the union in their time of need, but also to support all federal workers here at the airports. So thank you very much to all of them.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Any questions? I just want to say I really appreciate your being here, Paul. And once again, we've had the workers' backs. We're going to continue to have their backs. We're going to continue to be there for them. We're going to continue to fight for the back pay they are owed and enable them to avoid the kind of hardship and pain that many of them have endured, and for the traveling public today, and I'm among them, the inconvenience of delays that were encountered on Friday and other kinds of disruption of services. The American people deserve air security, food safety, refunds from the IRS, all the services that were disrupted or delayed. That kind of basic service is what our federal government owes the American people, and this shutdown was disgraceful and embarrassing, and we're going to do everything we can to avoid it going forward. I disagree with the President that the chances are less than 50-50. If we work together, if we seek common ground, there's no question we can avoid another shutdown in 3 weeks. So thank you to everyone for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to catch a plane.